The second generation of video game consoles began in the mid to late 1970s and is often referred to as the era that transformed gaming from a novelty into a growing entertainment industry. Unlike the first generation consoles, second generation systems introduced interchangeable game cartridges, allowing players to buy one console and continuously expand their game library over time. In 1976, the Fairchild Channel F became the first console to use programmable ROM cartridges. This was a major breakthrough because it solved one of the biggest limitations of first generation systems, which were restricted to built-in games. However, the most influential console of the generation arrived in 1977 with the release of the Atari 2600. Originally called the Atari Video Computer System, or VCS, developed by Atari, the Atari 2600 helped define what a home console could be. The Atari 2600 featured interchangeable cartridges, joystick controllers, and a much larger variety of games than earlier systems. Instead of only sports or Pong variations, players now had access to shooters, adventure games, racing titles, and arcade ports. This generation also saw major improvements in technology. Graphics became more colorful and recognizable, moving beyond simple dots and lines into actual characters, environments, and obstacles. Sound design also improved significantly, allowing games to include sound effects, music, and more engaging feedback. Popular games of the era included Space Invaders, which was ported to the Atari 2600 in 1980 and became one of the first killer apps for a home console, meaning it drove hardware sales. Other major titles included Adventure, one of the earliest action-adventure games, and Pitfall, released in 1982 by Activision. The second generation also marked the rise of third-party game development. In 1979, former Atari employees founded Activision after leaving the company over disputes about developer recognition and compensation. This made Activision the first major third-party video game developer, changing the business model of gaming permanently. As Atari dominated the market, more competitors entered the industry. Systems like the Mattel Intellivision, released in 1979, and the ColecoVision, released in 1982, offered stronger graphics and attempted to challenge Atari's market position. By the early 1980s, the video game industry was booming. Home consoles were becoming more mainstream, arcades were thriving, and gaming was becoming a recognizable part of pop culture. However, rapid growth also led to problems. As more companies rushed into the market, consoles and game libraries became oversaturated with low-quality software. This issue became especially visible with poorly received releases like E.T. the Extraterrestrial in 1982. These issues contributed to the video game crash of 1983, which caused major financial losses across the North American gaming industry.